What's up? Welcome back to the pod. Blazers Summer League starting, draft behind us. We're already gearing up for the 2024-2025 NBA season. I gotta tell you though, looking at this Summer League roster, maybe a little bit disappointed Scoot's not on there and some of the other young guys that we want to see development from. I told Riley that I'd read this roster on the podcast so we could get his live reaction from it. I just think it's funny how the names on it. I mean, it's a summer league roster, but okay. We got Kennedy Chandler, Donovan Clingan, Young Ji, Jackie Choi, Kendrick Davis, Quinn Ellis, Javon Johnson, Spencer Jones, Kwang Young Lee, Justin Manaya, I still don't know how to say that guy's name. He's been on the team for like 3 years. Chris Murray, Olivier Nakamhoy, Alex Reese, Ryan Repair, and Terquavion Smith. So that's four tenured Blazers by my count. Klingon, Manea, Murray, and Repair. What do you guys think about this roster? Should Scoot have been on it?
Go ahead, Riley.
Yeah, that's my only criticism at this point. Like, I'm not expecting a lot from the Summer League roster. I'm not expecting Shaden at this point. I'm not expecting really any of those guys, and certainly none of the veterans. That's Summer League for you. But Scoot is not a veteran, and to be honest, he's barely played NBA basketball. And not that Summer League is the same as the NBA, I'm not saying that, but at this point, any excuse for a run is like an excuse we need to take to get that guy running a team, to get that guy with a ball in his hand with the clock ticking, because it's not the same as scrimmaging in practice. It's just not. And he just needs to get some run with some guys, some NBA caliber, even if it's NBA Summer League caliber guys, so that he can know what it's like to run a team, to get that confidence. We need this guy to be the best player on the floor at some point. And even if that's in Summer League, he has the opportunity to, and he should be taking it. So I'm disappointed he's not playing right now. It seemed like this is the year that he should have really taken over the Summer League team, had a huge breakout kind of run, like a lot of the best players in the NBA have at some point in their career.
Yeah, I just want to start off by apologizing for this barren background. I just moved, so we should see some Blazer related stuff in the background next week. But I'll say this about Scoots not being there. I'm definitely disappointed. I was looking forward to seeing him out there. Uh, there's a couple things though. I remember in his exit interview, he specifically said he wanted to play. I'm wondering if this was management not wanting him to play because I remember two things about last year's summer league with Scoot. When he was out there, he looked really good. He was lighting it up in summer league. And
Triple
then
double threat.
yeah, and then he got hurt, right? So that's the two sides of the coin for summer league. Who cares if he balls out in summer league, right? If he gets hurt, that's the main thing. I know. We want him to have run, right? He actually just posted a video of him working out. Working out's not the same as playing. I get you, Riley. I saw a promising thing in that video. He was ending the video, he was making some left-handed
I
floater
knew that's
shots.
what you were gonna say.
I think he is really hard working on his game. And yes, I would love to see some pick and roll action with Donovan Clingan, who I'm sure we're about to talk about next. But if Scoot comes into the season and plays well, or just plays improved from what he was last year, even ending last year, he was looking good. If he comes in this season looking like he did at the end of last season and a little bit better, who's going to remember or care about Summer League? If Scoot comes in and plays like he did at the beginning of last season, we're going to say, why the F didn't he play in Summer League? So I think it's all going to depend on how he looks coming in. I'm not like depressed about it. I wish he was out there, but if he's working on his game and it looks better next season or looks comparable to the end of season how he was playing and a little bit better, I'll be fine with this decision of him skipping it. But if he's bad, it's like he could have used what was he dodging summer league? Like, so we'll see how he
Yeah.
looks in the season.
Yeah, I mean, part of it is short-sighted on my part. Like, I just want to see him play. It would make Summer League a lot more exciting if he was out there because I think he would have the chance to be the best player on the court. He could be vying for Summer League MVP, who knows? But looking more long term at it, it's not like I want him out there really to win a Summer League championship. I want him out there so that he can continue to develop and get more comfortable, running a team like that. But there is going to be a guy out there, 7'2", out of Connecticut, Donovan Clingan. Other than, I mean, the health thing is always just a caveat we got to throw on all this. Other than him staying healthy, what do you guys want to see from the big boy?
Well, I just want to see how he moves. Is he kind of slow, lumbering, getting back on defense, or is he like recovering on a guard and blocking a shot? Or is he like affecting shots? On the offensive end, I want to see maybe him in some short rolls, maybe him with the ball like diming kind of out of the short roll, or just like finding a guy when he's got the ball. And then this shot that everybody says is projecting for him, does he show it? Does he have it? Is it just people randomly saying it? Because the stats didn't show it. So everybody's projecting him to be a potential shooter. The stats did not show it at all.
He is
So
white.
yeah, is that the reason? I mean, his shot form looks like pure from
But
like
then you gotta throw out Mason Plumlee too and show that there's that side of the coin
Mason
as
Plumlee's
well.
form though looks nothing like Klingen's. At least Klingen does have that going for him. His shot looks pure, but come on, it doesn't matter if you're shooting 50% from the free throw line and 10% from three. So I want to see him maybe let a couple threes fly, see how he looks mobility wise, and see how he looks passing the ball. I know he can dunk it. He's 7'2". So and I'll be watching him, almost extensively, other than Repair out there and Murray, occasionally as well. But that's what
Don't forget about Manea, man.
I'm forgetting about him
Don't sleep
specifically.
on.
He's the new Brandon Williams for me. Anytime I see him out
Woo.
there, he's either taking minutes or what is he doing? I don't know. Trying his best.
I'm going to go a little bit extreme on this one and say that what I want to see from Klingon is nothing short of just absolute domination.
Oh wow.
I want him to come in with the mindset that he's going to be the best player on this summer league team and the best player on the floor in any given game, because he
I
plays
like
and he
it.
practices and he works out like he wants to be the best guy on the floor. And I mean, who else is going to be taking these shots? Like you were just saying. I mean, I want to
The
see something
guards.
from Repair. I do want to see some of that, but that's one guy. There's a lot of shots in a game. I don't really care whether Manea gets run. I don't really care
Kennedy
whether
Chandler is gonna get 25 shots a game. That's just how these summer leagues work.
yeah,
We
and
got
that's
we
not
got
what I want to
Javon
see.
Johnson out there going for the summer league MVP. You guys
And I
already
want
know
to
that's
see
gonna happen.
domination through variety is what I want to see. I want to see him in the post, just taking guys to task. I want to see him shooting from the mid range, shooting from three, and I want them all going down. That's what I'm expecting from Donovan Clingan. He's 20 years old. He's not a tiny child. He needs to get out there and be a grown man among boys and show why his, like, I'm the hardest working draft pick out here shtick, how that translates to the league.
We may look at the rest of the roster and kind of scoff. I mean, it's easy to look at these names and be like, who the hell is Kendrick Davis? But last year, there was a breakout star that kind of came out of nowhere for the Blazers during Summer League. He ended up making the main roster and became a fan favorite to a lot of people. I'm talking, of course, about doo-wop, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-wop, 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 doo-wop Reith. Is there any chance that happens again? Are you even somewhat interested in one of these guys breaking out and potentially vying for a roster spot? Or, I mean, even Doo-wop is as successful as that can go, a 27-year-old making a roster, it's still just pretty low ceiling. So you look at any other player on this roster and think like they might be able to make the roster, the regular season roster.
Is this thing? No.
I
No,
mean,
no doo-wop year two.
but nobody would have said that about Duop going into the preseason. We were like, who's this guy? Same thing So it's hard to
That's why
predict.
I'm not saying that's why I'm not saying like you take a name because that does seem impossible. But
Yeah,
is there room on this roster, on the regular
there's
season roster?
15 players on the roster. That's my issue. Like, I
So
think
you might
that
have to replace Banton. Oh no, you
no, I
can't
don't
do
even.
that.
I would Moses Brown, right? I think that we kind of touched on it. Root Pair is interesting to me. He keeps growing and they keep saying he's big, long arms. He had some flashes last year that were actually intriguing,
Didn't he have
He's
one game where he hit
before.
like 4 or 5 threes, I think, towards the end of the
Yeah.
season?
And he was like, I saw a couple plays where you'd like rip somebody in the backcourt, like kind of like flashes where you're like, okay, there's some pop here, which I didn't see a lot of that from Chris Murray last year, right? But Repair, I did see some of that from time to time. So I want to see how he looks. And I think that that's even if it's not, even if most of this is Klingon, and if Klingon plays well, we're gonna feel like it was a success. If Repair has some plays where you're like, whoa, he just had 15 points and he hit 4 threes and he had 3 steals, like we're gonna be a little excited about that, I think. So that's the other thing I'm looking at.
Yeah, I mean, in my mind, Rupert is a returning Blazer, so I wasn't really including him. I was
Yeah.
thinking about like totally unknown names coming out of the blue. One thing I'm noticing looking down this roster is that it's small. It's a small roster, and a lot of times those guys are not going to be your kind of come out of the blue and make it in the league guys. There's a couple of 5'11" guys. A lot of the guards and forwards are like 6'4". Couple of 6'7" guys maybe, but yeah, I'm not really expecting a whole lot
Couple of
from the
six
unknowns.
niners too.
Yeah, I hope I mean, it would be fun. It's always fun when someone comes out of the blue. I'm just not really expecting it this year. Props to Duop though. He's out playing on an Olympic team right now, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm glad
Made
to
it over
What
see him.
team?
Thibault.
What team is it?
Australia, right?
Yeah, he made it over Thibault.
Yeah, over
Wow.
Thibault. Yep, Thibault got cut.
What do you think the future for Duop is? Is he just going to be a serviceable big off the Blazers bench, or do they move him soon?
He could be in a trade. I mean, I like him, but again, now you have Aiton, Reith, Robert Williams, and I
You
don't.
mentioned Moses
Yeah, I
Klingon.
wasn't going to. Yeah, so I don't know what the future holds. It depends on which direction they go. They could keep him as like a Nas Reed, poor man's Nas Reed. I don't know why I said it in that order, but that's kind of his game if he were to kind of put it all together. So he's interesting, and a team could like that duop. We haven't even thought about that really as far as trades go. He doesn't really fit the age timeline right because he's like 28, right? So if a team likes him enough, they might trade for him, or he might be part of a package deal.
Yeah, I honestly I see him maybe, maybe the best part of his future is going to be when the NBA doesn't work out for him and he goes and is able to play overseas somewhere, and he might be like really good, in that kind of market. I think in the NBA he's going to have trouble finding very many minutes. Unless he continues to improve. I mean, usually 28-year-olds don't continue to improve that much, but I don't know. I mean, I like the guy. He definitely has put some stuff together. It's fun when he has good games. A little streaky, so he'll have a couple of great games and then a couple games where it's like 2 points, 2 boards, which is fine from someone in his position. But yeah, I'm not expecting a ton. Anything we get from him is found gold, including trade value. But I want hope the best for the guy and good luck in the Olympics.
You mentioned trades, Colton. Can you tell us any more about Jeremy Grant to the Lakers? We talked about a little bit about that last week, I believe, but we kind of thought that those talks were dead with LeBron signing his contract. But you had something else to say about that?
Yeah, and I know people have talked about it. Other Blazer related people have talked about it, but basically the second apron, I kind of touched on it last time. If you're over the second apron with your salary, with where you're at with your salary obligations, it makes doing a lot of things very difficult, including trades. You can't even aggregate players' salaries together to trade. So LeBron signed an extension, a 2-year extension, and he signed, so they're just under the second apron. So they can't take any more salary than they give back. So you'd have to kind of narrow your focus on what players would go out in a Jeremy Grant deal. But I still think that they left it available and open, and LeBron took that tiny bit of a discount. just because that way they're under the second apron, they can still make trades. So there was also an article that came out, and it's funny. It was kind of like Joe Cronin is earning his title as like a strict negotiator in deals. And I thought that was really funny. I think that's kind of like a LA media way of saying, why can't the Lakers just get what they want for nothing? Why can't it's like Miami all over again? Like,
And Bobby
why
Marks
can't we
talking
just
about
get
how the Blazers need to give the Nets all these picks because the Nets don't have the picks, so it's just not fair.
why can't the big market just take all the good players for nothing? It's not
It
fair,
is
Joe.
bullshit.
So I thought that was a hilarious article, and I think that was kind of like a
Adam
LA.
Silver's rigging the league in favor of the small markets, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, anyways,
Obviously.
I thought that was an interesting little sequence, and there's still a chance that Jeremy Grant gets traded this offseason. I think again, Joe's being patient, and I think it did pay off last time he did that. So we'll see what happens this time. Jeremy could be gone before the season starts, and if he waits and gets a better deal, I'm all for it.
So who on the Lakers have you put together a deal that
Yeah,
would work financially or and makes like even a little bit of sense?
I mean, so you're again, you're focusing on the picks here because the Lakers,
But then you'd also have to take back like
yeah.
Jeremy's equivalent in salary, right?
Yeah, so it'd be looking at something like D'Lo and Rui, and Dalton Connect could be on there depending on what you do. But that's just salary. Rui's fine. Like Rui played really well last year. He had a
Would
really,
they be eligible to like waive D'Lo when they get him?
I don't think so, but in the end, you might be able to waive him, and then
I
send
think
him
he's
to
on a
the.
1 year. I'm pretty sure he picked up a player option for 1 year.
Yeah.
This
So then it expires, worst case scenario, and he's just kind of the point guard vet guy. Not sure I want him as the vet, but my point being the salary, D'Lo is not the point. The point would be getting one or two first round picks, maybe getting Connect instead of one of those first if you can.
Bronny.
Yeah, Bronny, take Bronny, right? No, but so there's a deal to be had there that's got some pieces for the Blazers. Even if it's just two first round picks, I would definitely take that.
Yeah, I would take 2 first-round picks or 1 first-round pick and connect. I'm not interested in D'Lo long term. Obviously, I don't think any Blazer fan should be. But I mean, if that's what we have to take to make salaries match, like so be it. Obviously that this year isn't the year anyway. So, oh no, he has a foot injury. Just go. Don't even bother moving.
Whatever year is never the year, Riley. Whatever year it is, it's not going to be the year.
So yeah, I mean, I would do a deal like that. I kind of like Rui. I don't know if he exactly fits in timeline wise, but I mean, you got to have somebody. So, and I would like Connect actually. I think that he might be a pretty good fit for the team, at least for a while as we kind of figure out our identity.
Kind of
Um,
crazy he slipped so far in the
yeah.
draft, I thought.
Lakers
Honestly,
fans are
we're getting
already untouchable. Dalton Connect is untouchable because the media hyped up the fact that the Lakers picked him up. And it's like he's the 17th overall pick in the draft.
He's going to be the next James Worthy, Colton.
Untouchable, apparently. Right. But
I
we'll see what
do
This is
happens.
think
like Miami all over again. Just give us what we want. Why do we have to
Team
give
Joe
him
Cronin, he's a tough negotiator.
because he doesn't want to
Yeah.
get because he
You don't
doesn't
want
want
to
to
be a
give Dame
wussy
up for Tyler
negotiator.
Hero?
Yeah, I don't understand the article. What is he supposed to do? Just give the players away? And
Yes.
nobody, what do people say about Danny Ainge? They're like, Danny Ainge fleeced them. They don't say he's a tough negotiator. They just say he fleeced them. Why is Joe Cronin bad for wanting a better deal? Stupid.
old man Joe.
I don't think he's fleeced anybody on any deals yet, but hopefully that's coming soon. Hopefully his Danny Ainge moment is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking,
speaking of
yeah,
his
speaking of right
Jeremy
around the
Grant's
corner.
Team USA, former Team
Oh,
USA.
no, I had a different segue in mind. We both had segues in mind, though. Yeah, clearly we want to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Cooper Flag a lot this next year. I think it's probably every Blazers fan dream to get that guy, even if it's not in our dreams to watch another season of tanking to get the #1 spot. A lot of stuff up in the air still. Obviously, they have to play bad enough to get high odds. And then you look at what happened this year where Atlanta came out of nowhere to get the number one overall pick. So a lot of work to be done in the draft lottery as well. But he seems like a obvious centerpiece of the future for really any team. I think most of us have seen the highlights coming out this week from him playing with Team USA, going right at Anthony Davis one on one with them, getting a shot block, coming right back at him, getting layups, and yeah, dude looks pretty good. There's a few other guys in that draft that look pretty good. So I kind of want to ask Riley about this because he's the anti-tanking force of our podcast, and I don't disagree with them. I hate tanking too, but I'm wondering what you're willing to put up with this season as far as tanking goes, and what would be your strategy as a Blazers executive or whoever would be in line to make these decisions, um, and keeping the future in mind.
Yeah, this is a tough one because no matter how bad we play, we cannot guarantee that we get Cooper Flag. We could win 0 games the entire season and still end up with the third or fourth pick, you know? And it's just and the problem is that the top two guys are both, potential for probably franchise guys. And then it's
Really,
like
the top like five, maybe.
maybe
It seems deep.
That's
Maybe,
what I'm
but I
saying.
feel like at least the top two are guys who would be very much worth losing a whole season for. And beyond that, I'm not as confident about it. And so it's tough. It's tough to say, but at the same time, this is not going to be the year for the Blazers, like I said. And like you said, maybe it's never the year.
Never
But
the
in
year.
any case, I mean, this year, there's no way that this is a great year for the Blazers. The only thing that I want to see is I just will be very unhappy if we don't see Scoot and Shaden getting serious minutes together. And at this point, we got to throw Klingon in there too. Those three guys need to be playing minutes together. And I feel like you could play those three guys a lot of minutes and still lose a lot of
And
games.
Denny. I want to see Denny with those other
Yeah,
guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kamara.
So and you know what that means. It's what we've been talking about for 2 years on this podcast now, which is Anthony and Grant have to go. And we
And
lost
Aiton.
Brogdon already. So
But Aiton is joining the three-pronged has to go
yeah,
players. He
true.
took Brogdon's spot.
And so that's the really it's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. We got to play the young guys together. We got to lose games. Playing the young guys together probably means losing a lot of games. So what's the downside to that? We have got to get rid of the old timeline. I'll say it again for the millionth time. Old timeline is done. It's over. If we play
It's
Anthony and
finished.
if here's the thing, if we play Anthony, Jeremy, and DeAndre like 80 games this season, we're not going to lose enough games to get flagged. We just won't. They're just going to be just good enough to beat the bottom dwellers, and we're going to get
Maybe.
the seventh, eighth, ninth pick. I mean,
They looked horrendous last year, though. I mean, what did they earned like the fourth worst pick or the fourth or fifth pick, something like that, and they got fucked in the lottery. So yeah,
yeah, but like they
it's
weren't
not like those
playing.
three guys are winning them lots of games or anything. But I do agree on your point that it just doesn't matter because we don't want to see development out of those guys. We want to see development out of Scoot, Shaden, and Donovan.
Yep. So play those guys a lot of minutes, let them develop, let them lose. But let them have like good moments because you can still have good team development in a loss as long as the right guys are playing. If you put Anthony and Jeremy and DeAndre out there and they lose 65 games, that just like brings everybody's confidence down. That's not good. That's not like good locker room stuff. That's not good chemistry building. But you put Scoot, Shaden, Klingon, and Oddby out there and they lose 60 games or whatever, but they have these moments where they go on incredible runs. Someone gets hot. They're pumping each other up. They're excited. That's the kind of
Their
thing.
coach trusts them.
That's the kind of
If Scoot
thing
goes
that
2 for
builds.
11 in the first half, you keep him in the second half. See what he can do.
even
Please,
if it means a
Chauncey.
loss,
Please.
which gets us a little closer to capturing the flag.
Let the man go 3 for 20. I don't even care. I'd rather have him go 3 for 20 than Delano Banton go 0 for 16 from 3.
You guys both started this by saying you were anti-tanking, but then you perfectly explained what the strategy should be and are both on board. Love to hear it. I don't want another season like the one where we just had, where you didn't see a lot of flashes from the young guys. The people in the past have said, oh, we can't start winning next season. That's right. I agree. I think we need one more season, one more young piece. And it comes from this next draft. That's the strong draft. But what do? Play the young guys together no matter what. Scoot should play 30 minutes at least every single game if he's healthy, every single game.
Shaden too.
Sharp should play over 30 minutes every single, not 44 like he was when he got hurt, but 30 plus every night, no matter. I don't care if they trip and dribble the ball and throw it into the crowd and cuss out the ref. Play them
Or
the game.
or if they're like if Jeremy and Anthony are hitting all their shots and it's like a 5-point game, they're like within 5 points of OKC, and Chauncey's like, oh, we got screwed last year. I want to win this one super bad. So I'm taking Shaden and Scoot out because they missed a few shots. It's like, it doesn't matter, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, your job doesn't even really matter. That your job is
well, that's the
winning.
problem. He's coaching for his job. He wants to look good for the future. I think him and Joe are kind of not seeing eye to eye fully. I think there's been some
Chauncey like wants to
press
win
conference.
now, and
Yeah, he wants
Joe's
to
like,
win
come on,
because
bro. This is about developing players, not about
he's
winning.
about his future too, though. So I get why, but it's like, come on, just fire him if that's the case. Anyways, you guys broke it down perfectly. They need to play the young guys. If we have a season of young excitement, but we win the same amount of games, it's gonna feel a lot different. Yes, there's gonna be ups, there's gonna be downs, there's gonna be a 7-game losing streak where we're like, 7-game losing streak, what the? But then at the end, this draft, Kirby, you said it, it's strong. It's so much stronger than this year's. They're already there, and it could change, I guess. But Kirby, you hit the number 5. They said that there's at least 5 guys in this year's draft that would go number 1, or in this upcoming draft, that would go number 1 in this past draft, just from the potential. Some of them are like playing in professionally, like in France. Some of them are playing against Team USA already. Like
There's like 6 or 7 that would maybe
yeah.
go in the top
And
2
these
this
guys
year.
aren't playing in the G League. A lot of them are playing in college or in professional leagues. Like, the guy VJ Edgecombe, he's been playing with DeAndre Ayton on the Bahamas, and he was looking really good too.
Didn't he hit like a game winner, or like he was instrumental in them getting like a big upset win? Who'd they beat? Like, did they beat Luca or someone like that? I feel like the Bahamas went crazy.
They went 7-1. Bahamas. Ayton was playing good in every game, and so was Edgecombe. So I'm just saying, like, this year, even if you tank and get like the 3rd spot or the 2nd spot, not Cooper Flag, if you walk away with Ace Bailey,
You know what's gonna
I would be
suck though?
celebrating in the
It's
deep breeze.
Blazers
Yeah.
are gonna get like the 6th pick, and the only 2 guys that are gonna be available
guards,
are
the small
Traore
guards.
and Harper, the 2-point guards. It's
Well,
like,
Traore, they said he could go number 2.
yeah,
That's the
no.
thing. And if you
Obviously,
walk out of this with Ace Bailey, you got to be celebrating. So
or
definitely got to
Hugo,
take one more year, huh?
or Hugo. I'd take him all day
Hugo, oh, he's from
from
he's the
Spain.
wing. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the wing from Spain. Yeah, he's looked really good too. I watched a little bit of tape on him. He looked good, like better than the guys from this draft. So if you can slot in one of those 3 wings, or if another wing starts playing well, because they're all playing big stage, to this core with Shaden, Scoot, Klingon now, Advia, you've got a lineup. The next
There's a
season, you can go all in and try to get better and be the Thunder and win and be all young and have future picks still. It could crystallize just like that. Just one more year and then stop it. No more losing. Go try and win as many games as he can, in my opinion.
It would be funny if they did end up with one of these Jim, wing dudes, a Flag, a Bailey, a Hugo. There's another guy from UConn, McNeely, who's I think in the top 10, looks pretty dang good too. But it would be kind of funny because that would really justify the Klingon pick, rather than going the Buzelis, the big wing route. If they could get that guy next year, then they have a 7-2 center of the future, a backcourt, and
And forwards.
three solid young wings, and that really starts to look pretty dang good.
That's what I'm saying. Just a little bit longer and one more season. But you're Riley, you're right. You broke it down perfectly. That was one of my favorite points I've heard you make ever. You nailed the development plan. I think you should be the coach. Let's run it, Riley. I want to see it.
All three of us should be the management and coaches. They should have done that a long time ago. I'll replace Jody. Riley, you replace Chauncey. Colton, you replace Joe.
All I'm
You guys
saying,
still have to answer to me though, damn it.
my only thing is just that if it's another year, I don't really care about winning games. In fact, we shouldn't win games. But if it's another year of watching Anthony and Jeremy get depressed about losing when we're trying to lose, it's just hard to watch. It's not fun. Last season was not fun. Last season was my least favorite season of Blazer basketball since I've been alive. I've been on the record about that for a long time. I don't want that again. I want to see these young guys play, even if it means watching the young guys lose. That's what it's all about at this point.
Do we have Blazers TV yet? Again, the YouTube TV didn't come with it, did it? Or did it?
No.
No, but
Ah.
there's always another way.
Yeah, but I mean those are kind of crappy.
Okay, so
Never-
let's talk about that really quick. The Blazers, I think this is the last season with that contract that they're in.
Yeah.
I've heard rumblings from, well, the media said it, maybe not me. I'm not breaking any news, but that
You heard it here first on From the Logo.
You heard it here first. Hey, Nurkic for Aiton swap. You kind of did hear it here first.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Who was that? Who was that guy dropping dimes?
dropping dimes, right?
I remember I kept dropping a dime.
Yeah. They are talking about, they're looking at streaming options, and I think what's going to happen is they're going to go like the Utah or Phoenix model where you can pay like $15 a month and watch every Blazer game, which I will pay for. If it comes out like the Phoenix or the Utah one, I will pay it. But if it doesn't, I will yard matey it because that's how I operate.
Have you found one that doesn't just like glitch up and stop playing every 5 minutes? And like
Yes,
you found some
they
good ones?
work, they work 90% of the time, I would say.
90% of the time, every time.
You just gotta close ads or have ad block. That's the main thing. Ad block.
Ad block. Yeah, interesting. What do you use?
I can't say it on here. They're gonna shut this down.
No, they're not. What? Come on, bro. You could
shut
actually
it
bring
down.
value. You could actually bring value to our watchers right now.
I mean, we have talked about it before.
Sports, sir, give me a head.
There's
shake.
multiple sites. Well, I have to make sure they're still up and running. You're gonna make me double check. I mean, I haven't watched any games in a while.
Like
What,
Stream East.
Stream East,
it's
yeah.
okay, but it feels like it always, like whenever there's a clutch moment or whenever important thing's about to happen, it like pauses and I have to refresh like 4 times before it starts working again.
Yeah, and I would have to check it out. We could have another talk about
Either
this.
way, it would be very nice if the Blazers had their own broadcast channel that you could just, how would that,
Limit.
so with like the Utah one, you like go onto their website to
Yeah,
watch?
you can like download their app or whatever, or there's ways to get it on your TV too. And then Phoenix is just broadcasting on, or maybe it's the Clippers now. One of the teams is just going on their local network, like Channel 2. So like everybody would have it. You wouldn't even need any kind of cable
Wow.
to watch it. It was just because that's what it used to be on KGW. The Blazers used to have a lot of games, like 50 games on
Channel 8, right?
Channel 8, yeah. And you'd just be able to watch it for nothing. You could watch it no matter what. That's gonna cause more fans to come and watch the games because they get attached to the players rather than
You
I
got
haven't
to
been
imagine that's
scooting.
better for the organization. Like they're probably coming to the realization that these like lucrative contracts with Comcast and whatever other companies aren't doing them any favors if they're not, if fans aren't able to watch their games. It's like, I mean, I think obviously the team sucking was a big drawback to last year, but I think maybe a just as big of a component was that, I mean, there was a lot of fans that weren't able to watch any games. I think it's prevented Riley from watching a lot of games. I know my dad watched like two Blazers games all year long last year, which, he's been watch every a couple times a week, every week, all season long for decades. So I think that that was sort of a double whammy to the Blazers, and they might be feeling it. They might be like, "Oh man, our fan base is not as strong as and healthy as it was a couple of years ago when we had access to be able to watch these games." And also a big part of it too is just a more competitive and recognizable team. A lot of the fans really like the when the players stick around for a while so they get to know them. And that's, I mean, this is going off on a different tangent here, but it is interesting how that recognizable thing that we get a lot of comments, people saying like, why are we trading Anthony? Like, we don't trade Anthony. Anthony's the guy right now. And it's because he's been on the team the longest by far, the most recognizable by far player. A lot of people like have never even seen Scoot play or have seen him play a handful of times if they're real dedicated fans. But they remember watching Simons and Jeremy play, and there's a little bit more loyalty towards those type of guys. Not from us. We've clearly been saying on our first podcast, you're like trade Anthony. But I think a lot of people disagree with that. It's worth mentioning at least.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
say I got to go through the very pleasurable experience, and I'm not being sarcastic, of canceling Comcast after like 10 years of wanting to cancel Comcast. I finally got to do it. And when I called and they asked why I was canceling, I said, because you stopped showing me the Blazers. And the guy was like, yeah, I'm hearing that all the time, man. So we are not the only ones. They definitely had lower viewership numbers last year. That definitely hurts the team. It hurts the team in terms of like jersey sales, in terms of other merchandise sales. I'm sure attendance, it hurts that. And also,
Which
like to Kirby's point, like nobody watched Scoot play. Like in Oregon, like talking about the state of Oregon, where we really get behind our team and always have historically. I feel like we have such a disconnect with the team right now because they're not on a station we can watch.
you got to imagine that could hinder growth opportunities too for these guys. If the team panics and is like, our only marketable star is Simons because no one knows who else these guys are, like that could end in some disastrous decisions. I'm not saying they're that short-sighted or that stupid, but I mean, it's foreseeable. You could see it happening.
Develop your own streaming service, Blazers. Get with the future. You're not beholden to
Stop
Comcast
making
anymore.
us sail the high seas and go to these horrible websites, please. I'm begging you. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.